Alrighty, guys. I'm testing out a new mic that I got. It's a Blue Yeti. So hopefully this makes the quality of these videos a little bit better. I still haven't got it on my computer, but overall, I'm hoping that with this, the voice sounds a little bit crisp. I'm just testing it out, seeing how it works with this. Okay, so first of all, we're going to begin our analysis when it comes to our specific pairs. If you see a setup that I have right here, I hit my stop loss at 31 pips, which is not a big deal overall. It's fairly early in the week. It's barely Monday, so we're going to begin our analysis fairly quickly. Okay, so based on this information alone, let me check. We're going to look at the monthly. So now based on the monthly, we get a simple understanding about the market. The market has maintained a bullish trend just based on the fact that it has not broken away from this bearish trend line, meaning that it has maintained that direction. Overall, it has, in a sense, broken away from this previous support, but at the same time, it has found support when it came down to these levels another way back to these levels, supporting resistance within these zones. So the market is not necessarily pushing above or below that. It's just in the sense just consolidating within that general area. So right now, what we're seeing in the market is in a sense a channel market as respecting the bearish trend lines once, twice, three times, four times, five times, and on the top one, two, and three times. This is on the daily. So just to give you guys a very clear picture when it comes out in trend lines, you just analyze them as if basically you keep on based on your own perspective. There's not a right way to do trend lines. It's just based on your experience and how they work so far. So when it comes down to the daily, we do see a lot of consolidation, but as the market has opened, we start to see a lot of hesitation when it comes down to the support zone at this level. So now let's look at the 4 hour. So in the 4 hour, we're starting to see the market, in a sense, push above that support and resistance zone. We start to see this trend line being created when it comes down to these new levels, once, twice, three times, and four times being hit. So now for us to get into a trade like this on a 4 hour, we more than often have to have multiple confirmations. So based on this information alone, we do see these wicks on the upside. A bunch of them, a lot of exhaustion, but we do see wicks on the downside, meaning that there's a lot of sellers exhaustion at the same time. So momentum for the market to maintain a downward trend is potential, but at the same time, we just have to wait and see what's going to happen within this market. I do not see a lot of momentum based on this information that we have right now. I don't see the market pushing above that, but at the same time, I cannot guarantee 100% what's going to happen in the market. This is just based on my analysis. So based on that information alone, we start to see the market consolidate. For us to get into this exact trade, I will more than often emphasizing the fact that we would prefer the market to maintain a downward trend, retest, and push below that. We do see the consolidation starting to start. We do see a lower highs, lower lows, and at the same time, we started to analyze this on the 15-minute. We can see the market create another support and resistance zone within this level. So if I were to, in a sense, get into this trade at this moment, this would be mostly a confidence trade, meaning that my stop loss would remain about 30 pips and my TP target would be around this general area because of the support and resistance zone. So where there's enough support and resistance would be around this generalized area. So this is exactly where I see it. Based on this information, this is how I expect the market to potentially go. But if it doesn't, we potentially see a loss of 31 pips to gain 125. So let's just keep that in mind and maintain our direction based on our own analysis. So when it comes down to EU, so EU, I was expecting the market to maintain a downward trend. I'm not going to lie. So I am within this trade right now, not necessarily pushing above or below. It's literally within profits and without profits. But let me just emphasize this very quickly. So when it comes down to this information, let's look at it from the monthly. So on the monthly, we do see the market retest once, twice, three times, and four times. We see the market retest on the support and resistance zones, and it's still within that general area. We could have maintained bullish or bearish direction based on that information alone. We do see the market maintain in a channel. At the end of the day, the market is showing a lot of exhaustion on the upside, a lot of wicks on the upside. I mean, there's a lot of buyer's exhaustion going on when it comes down to the specific market. So now on the 4 hour. So when it comes down to the 4 hour, if we analyze this a little bit more clearly, we see the market retest this bearish trend line multiple times, once, twice, and 3 times. We do see, in a sense, a double top based on this information alone. We see wicks on the upside. So overall, my analysis for this specific market is maintain direction to the downside. Potential TP would be 69 pips, meaning that there's support and resistance within this level. When it comes down to Fibonacci's, at the end of the day, I just use them based on how the market goes and how we have based on certain setups. This does not require Fibonacci just because it's fairly new in the market. There has not been a retest on the downsides. Where is my potential direction in the market? So we're just going to maintain it as such. So far, market retest on these trend lines, potential for a bearish trend is highly probable. So we're going to wait and see. If you guys want to take a trade like this, you are more than welcome. But at the same time, base it on your own analysis. Okay, so UCAD so far has been maintaining direction on the downside. If you look at it on a monthly, very simple analysis. Market has retested this bullish trend line multiple times. There was a lot of exhaustion when it comes down to these support and resistance zone on the upside. There has not been a movement up besides this wick. So just based on this information alone, when it comes down to the daily, what we basically see in the market is right now is that, sorry about that, guys. Somebody was coming inside my house. When it comes down to this information alone, we see the market retest multiple times within this consolidation zone, and it has not pushed below this. Wait, give me a second. Okay, has not pushed below this. So overall, there is a lot of probability for the market to maintain a bullish trend based on these wicks, but this is on a daily. Well, let's look at a 4-hour. So when it comes down to the 4-hour, this would have been a very simple analysis, meaning that the market broke away from this, retested it, and maintained a downward trend. Now, overall, when we see a markup like this would have been a very simple entry. For me, I did not get into this trade. Personal reasons. I just know UCAD tends to do a lot of crazy shit, and I just didn't want to mess with it when it came down to that information alone. So right now, what we're seeing is the market retest these levels. So far, not much information leading us to have confirmations for either direction. I am leaning for a bullish though, just because of the fact that we have a higher time frame, meaning that it has retested almost to the exact point where it could see a trend line touch. So right here, right now, where we're at this market at this moment, we're gonna wait and see based on this consolidation zone where the market heads forward. So once it breaks away from here, we can have a retest and maintain a bullish buy all the way up to this previous support and resistance zones. We can of course hit it all the way up here, but that would not necessarily give us the risk to reward ratio that we are looking for. So that's basically UCAD. Potential is bullish, but so far I'm just gonna wait on it. It could maintain a bearish trend, but at the same time, just based on the higher time frame, my idea is that it could maintain a bearish trend for a little bit, consolidate, not have a giant move like these, but just maintain that direction overall. So now UJ. I've been in UJ for quite a minute. So I've been in UJ for quite a minute. Okay, so I've been in UJ for quite a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, so I've been in UJ for quite a minute. I am about 153 pips, boy. Oh shit. I think my biggest trade overall, if we don't, I never like talking about US 30 or Ripple when it comes down to pips, because whoever says, oh, we made 500 pips or 600 pips on that, it doesn't necessarily, just give me a second. So when it comes down to these, so when it comes down to my biggest trade, I don't necessarily remember if it's 200 pips, but it was on a currency pair. Overall, I don't try to say that when it comes down to US 30 or any kind of cryptocurrency. I don't count those pips because people say we made 500 or 600 or 800 pips, but it's basically a simple movement. It doesn't take a lot to catch those movements. And those are just people that are trying to gloat something that's not necessarily that impressive, because you can make 100 or 200 pips on US 30 like that. And it's basically like making 10 or 20 pips on a regular currency pair. So overall, simple analysis. My bias on UJ is probably maintaining the bullish trend up to here. And just overall market direction has been showing me that there's a potential for it, just because of the market, the fact that the market has retested on the outside. But let's look at the monthly, just give us a more clear picture. So on a monthly, we do see the market maintain its direction. So far, when it comes down to this analysis, we see the market retest once, twice, three times on a bearish trend line and retest on the outside. We see wicks on the downside, meaning there's a lot of sellers exhaustion. Market has retested multiple times, once, twice, three, four times, and then has in a sense created a double bottom. There is a lot of momentum on the upside based on this information alone. We're barely catching it. We caught, well, if any of you guys saw the analysis that I did, if you caught this trade, that was great. Overall, market retested multiple times on this zone. There was opportunity to get into this trade. There was a lot of opportunity to get into this trade. Market retested once, and it broke away from this bearish trend line up to this level. And now at this point where it's at, my buy is on UJ is that it still has momentum to maintain a bullish trend, just based on the fact that there is a lot of wicks on the downside. There is wicks on the upside, but this giant wick is on the 1 hour, so I don't necessarily use it as a vital information just because it is on a 1 hour chart. So overall, potential for this market is my original TP is all the way up here, which is 269 pips. So far, we're up 150 pips. So let's see how that goes. So Ripple. I've been in Ripple for quite a bit now. Hasn't necessarily done much. I mean, I've been in profits for quite a minute, but it hasn't. I should have been taken out of these trades in and out, but at the same time, I just don't really play the game like that. I just let my trade fulfill, and then after that, I just let it do what it has to do. So far, the market is retesting on the daily. Remember, we don't look at the monthly because cryptocurrencies are fairly new, so we don't like to analyze too deeply into that. So when it comes down to this, we see a lot of support here. Market has not pushed below that. We start to see the market in a sense consolidate within that level, meaning that perhaps the market is losing momentum on a downside 4 hour in. We look at it, we see a bearish trend line hit once, twice, three, four times, and retest on the outside, and it's within that general area where it's starting to consolidate. That's fairly good news for cryptocurrencies. If you trade it often, you can understand that when it does this, that means that there's a potential giant spike coming up. So we can look forward to that if that potentially happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it can potentially happen. So we see another bearish trend line being hit once, twice, and three times on the other side and push above that level. Now we start to see the consolidation. Market potentially go above that. If you want to get into a trade, not necessarily saying that it is bullish or bearish. I would just wait and see until it removes itself from this consolidation zone. But based on my analysis, I do see a bullish momentum. Bullish momentum in this market, and the momentum based on the fact that there is a lot of breakaway from these trend lines and a lot of support and resistance touch. At the same time, the market is within this general area where it has not pushed below this, so this could be a potential good entry. And my TP is not necessarily that high for cryptocurrencies. I never tend to put them that high. It's within this support and resistance level, so right here. Now let's look at US 30. Okay, so US 30 last week was definitely a great week for me. So far, market has retested multiple times. It has not pushed above this. I don't necessarily know if it is. The market has never been this high before. So when it comes down to the monthly, we look at that. Now we look at the daily. Based on this information alone, on a daily, has broken away from this consolidation zone, but at the same time, it's hitting a lot of support and resistance within this general area. So far, we see the market consolidate within this area. For me, this market, it could potentially be a TP or a stop loss. Just based on the fact that it is showing a lot of momentum on either side, but just based on the analysis that I have and on the whole market view, we see this market see multiple times hit this bullish trend line that I have once, twice, three times, and it's almost within the channel. So it's within that general area. We do see a lot of consolidation, so that could potentially mean that the market is going to maintain a downward trend. So we're going to wait and see when it comes down to US 30. Let's look at the 1 hour to give us a more clear picture. So we see a lot of consolidation. That's definitely something now to keep in mind. We start to see this bullish trend line being respected and broken away and retested almost exactly to this point. So just keep in mind when it comes down to US 30, it's fairly easy to trade, but at the same time, you can always get it wrong. And when you get it wrong, it's going to hurt your pockets. But if you're getting wrong and you have proper risk management, then it's not going to affect you as much, if you know what I mean. So far, maintaining a downward trend for me, bearish momentum, like I said, TP is potentially support and resistance zone within this general area. It could, of course, be up here, but based on risk reward ratio, if that was potentially the TP that I had in mind, I would not necessarily get into a trade like that. So TP is all the way down here for me, and we're going to see what happens to that trade. So hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I'm sorry to make these a lot longer, just because I can go into a little bit more detail and I don't have to wait for people to get in line or get online or just look at these videos. I can just go into deep detail and just talk a little bit more about this. So let me just emphasize a little bit more about psychology when it comes down to trading. As far as getting into trades and getting out of trades, I feel like in this industry, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype from people, not necessarily bashing anybody who's involved in MLMs or anything like that, but there's a lot of hype when it comes down to this business. And the reason there's hype, because people want easy money. But at the same time, I want to emphasize to everyone that's involved in this industry is that, yes, this is about the money, but at the same time, if it's only about the money for you, you're more than likely not going to succeed in this, because this is a skill set. This is something that you learn and you progress with and you become better at. You can't necessarily get into this industry expecting to be successful and just hype it up all the way until, you lie to yourself about how much success you actually have in this industry. Because most of us just want to be seen doing this, not necessarily doing it. So at the same time, I want to emphasize just focus on learning, focus on studying. Don't emphasize too much for me personally. Don't emphasize that you're always on the charts, that you're looking at graphs, because honestly, nobody gives a damn what you're doing. And if I'm being completely honest, if you're focusing mostly on that, then you're not necessarily focused on the actual picture, what trading is, which is basically a skill set that can necessarily give you the kind of life that you want to live. So when it comes down to psychology and all that, don't hype it up. Don't rush into it. Don't try to get the most out of it. And then at the end, they just be disappointed because you didn't get where you wanted to be as fast as you wanted. This is a lonely game. I understand that a lot of people have industry people that, they know and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, this is a lonely game, because no one's going to make you do what you have to do. No one's going to make you achieve your goals. At the end of the day, you have to put in the work and study. And when it comes down to this specifically, what we do as trading, the best way to do this is just being self-sufficient, meaning that you do this based on your own terms. You don't look at anybody else. You don't necessarily ask for anybody else's trade setups or anything like that. You just look within yourself. I'm more than willing to help people. I'm more than willing to teach people, but at the same time, I emphasize on the fact that there has to come a point where you do not depend on other people that tell you what to do as far as what trades to take and what trades not to take. This is your trading career, and do not take advice from people that are not where you want to be. I 100% believe in that. Do not take advice from people that are not where you want to be. If I'm not where you want to be, don't necessarily take my advice. But if you see my growth and my progress and you see potential in it, then yeah, you can definitely take it. But for me personally, if somebody gives me advice about trading or the idea of trading and they don't even trade, or they haven't been doing this successfully or haven't been profitable, I don't care if you own a mansion or if you don't. But as long as you have that skill set and that mindset, and you show me that you are potentially profitable and you are growing and you are becoming better and you are getting to your goals, then I'm going to listen. But at the same time, don't listen to people that just tell you, hey, do this, trade this way. I learned this, I heard this, I heard that. At the end, they just listen to people that actually back up what they say. So that was my little rant for you guys. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. I leave for New York on Thursday, so I'll try to get into a Zoom call probably Thursday and Friday within that time. Yeah, Have a great day. I'll be back on Monday from NY, and I'll let you know what's the plan from that point. And October 25th, the course is coming out. Just reminding you guys.